They told you to wait. Wait for the call. Wait for the right time. Wait for the perfect alignment of stars, support, circumstance. So you waited. You waited for permission. You waited for the world to notice. You waited for someone, anyone, to save you from the storm inside your soul. But no one came. And that silence was your awakening? Because here's the truth they don't print on posters. Nobody's coming. Not the mentor, not the miracle, not the hero with the magic solution to all your problems. This world does not hand out transformation, it hands out trials. And somewhere inside you, beneath the excuses, the fears, the years of settling, you know this. You've known it all along. You just didn't want it to be true. Because if no one's coming, that means it's on you. All of it. And that is terrifying. But let me tell you something even more terrifying. Wasting your life waiting. Wasting your fire hoping. Watching your potential rot because you were too afraid to become your own rescue. This is the day you stop outsourcing your power. This is the hour you reclaim your story. This is the moment you rise. You were not born to be a spectator in your own life. You were born to build it, to bleed for it, to shape it with your two hands, even if they're shaking, even if no one claps when you begin. And that starts in your mind, not in your bank account, not in your title, not in the validation of the crowd. It starts the second you say, I will no longer wait for the world to fix what I can heal. I will no longer sit in the wreckage of my own potential, hoping someone drags me out. I am the storm. I am the architect. I am the answer. The first enemy you must defeat is the voice that whispers, you're not ready. Because that voice is lying. You don't need perfect conditions. You need courage. You don't need a flawless plan. You need faith in motion. You don't need to know how it all ends. You need to start before you're certain. Clarity is not what you wait for. Clarity is what you earn when you move through the fog with conviction. Think of the great ones, Carnegie, Lincoln, Oprah, Mandela. Do you think they were handed a blueprint for greatness? Do you think the path was paved in gold and encouragement? No. They walked through hell with vision. They forged steel in the fire of failure. They became legends because no one came, and they rose anyway. Your excuses are not facts. They are habits. Break them. Your doubts are not destiny. They are tests. Pass them. You don't get to complain about a life you refuse to change, and you don't get to envy what others built while you were scrolling, comparing, doubting. Every day you delay, you are robbing yourself of your own becoming. You are holding your future hostage in the name of fear. But fear only wins if you feed it. So starve it. Starve it with action. Starve it with discipline. Starve it with the decision to rise even when no one is watching. This is the era of personal responsibility. Not blame, not shame, responsibility. The most powerful word in the language of self-transformation. Because when you take full responsibility, you stop begging life to be easier, and you start building the strength to handle whatever it throws. You stop saying, why me? And you start saying, try me. That shift, right there, is how empires are built from the ruins of excuses. Don't you see? Every mountain you face was placed there to forge a higher version of you. Not to block you, to build you. Discipline is not a punishment. It is a declaration of self-respect. Routine is not boring. It is the rhythm of those who rise. Silence is not emptiness. It is the soil where clarity grows. Most people are chasing noise because they're afraid of hearing their own truth. But not you. Not anymore. You came to face yourself. To sit in the discomfort until it turns into growth. To grind in private until the results scream in public. To rise, not because it's easy, but because it's who you are. The world will try to sell you distractions. Will try to sedate your hunger with comforts, likes, and fake dopamine. They'll say, relax, there's time. But understand this, time is not loyal to the passive. It rewards the relentless. You must stop measuring your life in weekends, paychecks, and opinions. and start measuring it in impact, growth, and the standards you hold when no one is watching. That's where power lives, not in applause, in alignment. You say you want more? Then prove it in your habits, in your early mornings, in your late nights, in your decision to keep showing up when everything in you wants to quit. Because the gap between who you are and who you could be is only crossed by those willing to suffer for their own future. Suffering is not your enemy. Stagnation is. Because pain, real pain, is a message. It says, this life is too small for you now. It's the alarm clock for your greatness. You don't get to evolve without it. You don't get to become fire without first being broken down to embers. Ask Thomas Edison. The man failed over 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. 10,000 times. He wasn't waiting for someone to hand him the future. He was forging it with blistered hands and an unshakable mind. Or look at Abraham Lincoln, defeated in elections, mocked, buried under loss, grief, and rejection. But he refused to let those losses define his legacy. You see, the ones who rise are not the ones with the best resources. They are the ones with the deepest resolve. They make a decision that nothing and no one will outlast their will. And you have that same fire. You've just been taught to dim it, to shrink it, to apologize for it. But I'm here to remind you, you were not built to live on your knees. You were built to create, to command, to conquer. Not the world outside you, the world within you. Because no external enemy is greater than the internal war you wage every day, between fear and faith, between doubt and destiny, between comfort and calling. And every time you choose discipline over distraction, purpose over pleasure, growth over gratification, you are winning that war. This life does not respond to your desires. It responds to your standards, to your actions, to the level of energy and responsibility you're willing to bring to each moment. If you tolerate chaos, you'll live in it. If you tolerate excuses, you'll drown in them. But if you raise your standard just once and defend it like your life depends on it, everything changes. Because life bends for the relentless. It opens doors for the bold. It moves for the disciplined. Understand this. You do not rise through intensity alone. You rise through consistency. The gym one time won't change your body. Reading one book won't change your mind. One great day doesn't rewrite your destiny. But stack enough of them, enough focused mornings, enough undistracted hours, enough painful reps when your body screams to stop, and suddenly, you're no longer the person who needed saving. You've become the person who saves themselves. That's the mission. To become the kind of human you would have looked up to when you were broken. To become your own role model, your own anchor, your own damn hero. Because the only plan B is to outwork plan A until it works. There is no magic trick, no shortcut. Just you, meeting your resistance head-on and breaking through it. Your clarity will not come through thinking alone. It will come from doing, from starting messy, from falling flat and learning what doesn't work. That's how you build mastery. Through friction, through trial, through the dignity of effort. Look at Henry Ford. They mocked his horseless carriage, told him it was stupid, impossible, unnecessary, but he didn't ask for approval. He demanded results. And history bent around him. He didn't wait for permission. He gave himself authority. So why are you still asking? Why are you waiting for someone to declare you ready? You're already in the game. The question is, will you play to win or spectate until the clock runs out? Yes, you will face resistance. Yes, you will fail. But failure is not the enemy. It is the tuition you pay for success. What you should fear is regret. The pain of wondering what could have been if you just believed a little more, persisted a little longer, risked a little bolder. So rise, not in comfort, but in courage, not in guarantees, but in grit. Let your habits become holy. Let your goals become non-negotiable. Let your character become undeniable. Wake up early, not because it's trendy, but because the world is quieter and your vision is louder. Train your body, not for vanity, but for vitality, because a strong body becomes a strong mind's best weapon. Audit your environment, cut the noise, reduce the junk, eliminate what weakens you, and double down on what fuels you. And above all, watch your words, because your life will follow the story you keep telling yourself. Stop saying, "I'm stuck." Start saying, "I'm becoming." Stop saying, "It's too late." Start saying, "This is where I begin." Speak to yourself like you matter, because you do. No one's coming to rewrite your narrative, but you can. No one's coming to rewrite your habits, but you can. No one's coming to teach you how to believe again, but you can remember who you were before the world told you to shrink. And when you do, when you finally stop waiting and start rising, you'll realize something sacred. You were never broken. You were just buried. Buried under opinions, distractions, disappointments, and self-doubt. But seeds are buried too, and with pressure, and time, and just enough darkness, they rise. So stop waiting for someone to fix your life. No one's coming. But you're already here, and that's enough. The day you realize that you are enough, not in some empty, feel-good affirmation, but in a raw, soul-level truth, that's the day the game changes. You don't need another motivational quote. You need to move. You don't need to manifest harder. You need to build, fail, refine, repeat. Manifestation without motion is delusion. Vision without discipline is hallucination. And dreams without deadlines become prisons of procrastination. Yes, dream big. But remember what Walt Disney said: the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. The greats didn't just imagine, they executed. They lived in reality with the mind of a visionary and the hands of a laborer. That's how empires are built, on the back of daily grit, not fleeting inspiration. And you're not some bystander to greatness. You're part of the lineage. You carry the same fire that built nations, birthed revolutions, wrote symphonies, carved paths through chaos. But fire, unattended, becomes smoke. It fades. So tend to it. How? Through clarity. You cannot rise without direction. You cannot become your best self if you don't even know who that is. You must define your mission, not just what you want, but why you want it. Because when the pain hits, and it will, it's your why that will keep you anchored. If your why is weak, your excuses will win. If your why is shallow, your distractions will devour it. But if your why is rooted in purpose, if it is bigger than comfort, louder than fear, and deeper than convenience, then nothing will stop you. Not the critics, not the chaos, not even your own tired bones screaming for rest. Clarity brings power, power brings momentum, and momentum is how you move mountains. You think you need motivation, but what you really need is motion, because motion creates momentum, and momentum rewires belief. Don't wait to feel ready. Start now. Start awkward. Start tired. Start broke. Start scared. But start. Because what you begin in fear, you will finish in power if you don't quit. You want to be the kind of person who doesn't break when life gets hard? Then become the kind of person who trains when it's easy. Discipline is the backbone of freedom. Most people want results, but they don't want routine. They want the prize without the process. But life doesn't work like that. It will test your patience, break your plans, delay your reward. Why? To see if you're serious. To see if you'll persist when the excitement wears off, and all that's left is you and the grind. That's where character is carved. Anyone can smile when they're winning. But who are you when you're losing? When your bank account is dry, your relationships are strained, your energy is gone, but the dream is still burning? That's when you discover who you really are. And who you are in the dark is the same person who will shine in the light. So train your spirit like a warrior. Refuse to be casual about your life. Refuse to coast. Refuse to see how it goes. Decide, then commit. Then go all in like your life depends on it, because it does. And when you get knocked down, don't just bounce back. Come back better, come back smarter, come back hungrier. Resilience is not just endurance, it's transformation. The caterpillar doesn't survive the cocoon by holding on to what it was. It becomes something else entirely. It surrenders to the fire of change. You too must surrender to growth, to challenge, to the higher version of yourself that exists on the other side of discomfort. You'll be tempted to quit. You'll be tempted to numb. You'll be tempted to compromise. Don't. The world is already full of people who gave up. Don't become one of them. Become the outlier, the exception, the one who chooses pain over pity, purpose over popularity, growth over gossip. You'll lose people. Good. They were never aligned with your vision. You'll be misunderstood. Fine. You weren't born to be understood. You were born to be unforgettable. You'll doubt yourself, of course. But doubt is just a sign that you're doing something brave. Keep going, because every scar will become a story. Every failure, a foundation. Every delay, a divine redirection. You are not behind. You are becoming. And the world needs what you are building, even if it doesn't know it yet. So build it anyway. Love it anyway. Fight for it anyway. Because there's a version of you out there that doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, doesn't wait. And that version of you, they're watching, waiting, calling you forward. You don't owe the world your silence. You owe it your becoming. Don't die with your greatness buried beneath fear. Don't let this chapter end the same way it began. Rise. Because the cost of staying small is too high. You think comfort is safe? Comfort is the slowest form of death. It numbs the fire, silences the voice, dulls the vision, and before you know it, a year is gone. Then 5. Then a decade. And all that's left is the echo of what could have been. The dreams you bury because you were scared. The words you never said because you wanted to fit in. The strength you never discovered because you wouldn't get uncomfortable. But not anymore. No more waiting. No more hoping someone comes to do the work for you. No more whispering your value in a world that only hears thunder. You were made to roar. You were made to lead, to love, to fight, to fall, to rise again with scars that sing louder than any applause. This is your season. Not because the world says so, but because you say so. You declare it. You step into it. You become it. Let the old you die. Let the version of you that made peace with mediocrity be buried with the past. Let the world feel the absence of your excuses and the presence of your discipline. The storm is not your enemy. It's your proving ground. So step into it with your chin up and your fists clenched. You want greatness? It's already inside you. But it demands proof, and proof looks like patience. Proof looks like sweat. Proof looks like you showing up on the days you'd rather disappear. That's the work. That's the edge. That's the life. And when it gets heavy, and it will, remember this. You are not here to survive. You are here to build. You are not here to impress. You are here to impact. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be legendary. So rise. Rise because you've got chapters to write. Rise because your name belongs in rooms they haven't even built yet. Rise because a future version of you is waiting on the other side of this pain, and they are everything you ever hoped to become. They are clear. They are focused. They are disciplined, dangerous, driven. They don't run from difficulty. They run toward it because they know that growth never hides in comfort. It hides in the challenge, in the rejection, in the sacrifice. And if you want the crown, you must be willing to carry the cross. This is not about becoming someone else. This is about remembering who you are without the fear, without the noise, without the weight of other people's opinions. You were never ordinary. You were just conditioned to play small. But now you know better. And when you know better, you rise higher. So take the first step, no matter how small, how shaky, how uncertain. Because one step becomes a walk becomes a run, A run becomes momentum, and momentum becomes transformation. And before long, the world will look at you and wonder how you did it, how you rose, how you changed, how you defied the odds, and you'll smile because you'll know. You didn't wait for permission. You didn't wait for a sign. You didn't wait for someone to fix your life. You became the builder. You became the fire. You became the one who rises. And in doing so, you gave others the courage to rise too. Because when you walk in power, you show others what's possible. You become the proof that pain can birth purpose, that struggle can sharpen strength, that one soul on fire can light a generation. So rise, not tomorrow, not next week. Now rise like your life depends on it, because it does. Rise like a warrior who knows the battle is not the end but the beginning. Rise with fire in your chest and clarity in your mind. Rise because no one's coming. But you're already here, and you were born for this.